day. If they're trying to see a leg, talking puts and calls, but they just stare ahead. Strike price means nothing in their blank minds. Margins and leverage like mountains to climb. Spent the whole week on Delta and Greeks. Gamma theory ain't cutting through their peaks. Volatility shakes, but they don't feel the quake. Future contracts blind as financial break.
Takes 10 times as long.
Bam.
What?
Did it.
I don't see it. Hang on a sec. Are you sharing it? Because I don't see it.
Yeah.
Okay, now you have your screen there and Abraham's screen there. Well, go to your account because Jaden's on Eli's account. Jaden?
What's up?
You're on Eli's account.
That makes sense on down so much money. Look, I'm almost at even.
You were up to over 10,000 today, and now you're down $400, and the market went down. Okay,
I'm
so
down almost $1,000.
Abraham's account is at what? Net liquidity. Okay.
I don't want to be in this.
How about stupid?
So what are you talking about? Go to didn't you put a Shopify position?
Abraham did. I think I did not.
I'm looking at Abraham's account.
Yeah, Abraham has a Shopify position on.
Go to your Shopify position.
Abraham, you do that, not me, because
I'm trying to get some. Okay.
Shopify position.
Can you please shut up and stop singing?
Yeah, Jaden, stop singing.
Oh, you talking about me?
Yeah.
Yes. Abraham, do you notice how your position now, you have $2.33 on this put, the 60 put?
That's mine.
Yeah. You notice how it's down $100?
97.
Yes. That means that the stock did what after you put the position on? You sold. Yes, it went down. You sold this call for 76. It's worth what now?
$136.
Where did you get that? That was the cost of what you initially sold the. Stop.
I'm so confused.
136 is what you initially sold the put for. Right?
Yeah.
What's the put worth now? Move to the left. Track it to the left. It's marking at there's a figure
233.
Yes, so if you sold something for 136 and now it's worth 233, is that good or bad?
Good. Wait, no, bad.
Yeah, if you sold it and you have to buy it back for a higher price, that's usually bad. We want to buy things at a cheaper price and sell them at a higher price. So for the call, what did you sell that for? People are going to think you're a bunch of potheads and you're not even high. That's the sad part.
I got rid of my nose. It's not our fault. It's the license problem.
What did you sell it for?
76.
76, and it's now worth what?
$3.95.
39
That's Google Maps.
and a half cents. So that means the stock had to move down a lot, right?
Half.
Half what?
Half of 76. Isn't it close to half?
Well, the stock didn't have to move down half its price. It just had to.
It did move down half.
It didn't.
What?
When you sold this, the stock, do you not remember? We did this morning. The stock was at like $67. It's now at 63. It didn't move down half. The value of the contract moved by half, but that doesn't mean the stock moved by half. It's a derivative. It gets its value based on the stock. So the stock can move $3 and it changes the price of the value of the contract by 100%. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Uh,
All right, let me give you a better example. You buy a put contract for a stock that's trading at $100. You buy the $95 put contract, right? Do you get this so far?
you buy a $95 put contract.
A $95 put contract for a stock that's trading at 100. The stock doesn't move a lot, so you only pay $2 for the contract. It expires in a month. If the stock moves down to $90 from 100 to 90, how much of a percentage did it have in a move? From 90 or from 100 to 90?
Well, it
10.
No.
Wait, what?
Abraham, from 100 down to $90. What's the percentage move, the decrease in the stock?
-10.
Your name is not Abraham.
10% move.
Right.
That's what
Okay.
I said.
Okay. Gotcha. 10% move. Gotcha. So the stock moved 10%. So if you bought this contract for the next 30 days, you paid $200 for the contract. What would the minimum value of that contract be that was the 95 put if the stock is now trading at $90? So if it was 100, it gave you the right to sell it at this particular price, which is 95. You paid $200 for that right for 30 days. Now the stock is trading at $90.
195.
What?
5.
If you pay $2 for the right to sell it at 95,
93.
when the stock is trading at 100, now the stock is trading at 90. So if you have the right to sell it at 95 and the stock is trading at 90, that means the contract has to be worth at least what? You can go out to the open market and sell it today for 95.
Mhm.
Stock is currently trading at 90.
Mhm.
So that means if you buy it today, you can only sell it for what?
90.
90, yes. So, but you have the right to sell it at 95. So the
So you're gonna lose
contract
money.
has to be worth at least what?
95.
The contract has to be worth $5 because the difference between 90 and 95 is $5. Right?
Mhm.
So you know your contract's going to be worth more than $5 because of what the contract does. It gives you the right to sell it at 90, and the stock, or it gives you the right to, I'm sorry, it gives you the right to sell it at 95, and the stock is currently trading at 90. Does that make sense how the contract gets its value? It's based on the stock. So if the stock drops all the way down to 90 and you have the right to sell it at 95, you know that contract's going to be worth at least $5.
Mhm.
It's going to be worth more than $5 because you still have what in the contract?
Days.
you have 30 more days for the stock to potentially go down more. So that is called time value. So based on how long you have in the contract, the time value is going to be more and more and more. If you have 1 day left, it's not going to be as much as if you had 2 months left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying because you just don't want to have this conversation, or are you saying because you actually get it?
I get it. More value because more days.
Okay. So in the same sense, let's say I had the right to buy a stock at 105. I paid $200 for that right. When at the time that I bought it, the stock was trading at 100. 5 days from now, and I bought the right for 30 days. So 5 days from now, the stock is now trading at 110. What is the minimum value of the contract that it could potentially be worth?
210.
You don't get it.
I thought you said that it was you bought the contract with you. There's too many numbers. I don't know. There's a lot of numbers.
All right, let's try it again. So if I buy it, all right. So today, listen, bro. Listen, if I buy a contract today that gives me the right to buy a stock, it's currently trading at 100, right? We're on the same page here.
100.
It's trading at 100. The price of the stock today is 100.
Mm-hmm.
I go out to the market today and I buy the right to buy the stock
Are you on the same day?
the same day. I buy the right on the same day to buy the stock for 105 for the next 30 days.
$5.
There wasn't a question. I feel like you're actually not taking this seriously at this point.
Pre-firing, your next question. It's a difference.
There wasn't a question.
Just keep it track.
There wasn't a question to keep track.
There's a lot of different numbers you're saying.
Yes, I'm saying the stock today is worth $100.
You're buying to sell it at 105.
You're buying the right to buy it at 105 for the next 30 days.
So 30 days.
To buy it at 105.
Okay.
You pay $200 for that right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trading at 100. You pay $2 for the 105 strike. Does that make sense?
You pay $2 for 105 strike.
The 105 strike gives you the right to buy it at 105
for 30 days.
For 30 days. You're paying $2 for it. So it's trading at 100. You're paying $2 for the right to buy it $5 higher for the next 30 days. If the stock, it costs $200 or $2. So it costs $2 in option premium. It costs $200 when you multiply that by 100 shares. So if in the next 5 days, the stock jumps all the way up to 110, you have the right to buy it at 105. What's the minimum value that contract must be worth?
105.
The contract is never going to be worth $105. The contract
200.
The contract started at a value of 200 or $2, right? So $2 in premium. So if it goes, and it gives you the right to buy it at 105. If the stock price moves up $5, the minimum value of the contract must be at least what?
205. 195? Is
The
200
value
not
of the
saying-
contract, the value of the contract. I'm not saying what the value of the stock. I'm not talking about the value of the stock. The the value of the contract is a derivative that gets its value based on the stock price. You keep including the stock price in the way that you're thinking about this. You need to include how you think about it with the stock price, but the value of the contract is outside of the value of the stock price in the sense that
So it's saying at 200.
the value of the contract was never at 200. It was never at 195. It was at $2, bro.
You said $2 was 200.
I said, okay, I get what you're saying now. The value of the Jaden, shut up. The value of the contract was $2 to begin with, right?
$2.
The value of the stock went from 100 to 110. How much of a move did the value of the stock move?
$10.
$10, right? You had the right to buy it initially when you purchased that right for $2 at what price?
100.
No,
105.
105.
$5 difference from 1.5.
So there's a $5 difference between when the stock of when you bought the contract and the price of the stock. There was also and there still is a $5 difference between where your strike is and the current value of the stock. Right? So if the stock is currently trading at 110 and you have the right to buy it at 105, what's the minimum value of that contract? The stock is currently worth $110 and you have the right to buy it at 105.
The minimum would be where it started.
No, if you have the right to buy something at 105 that is worth 110, how much is your contract worth at least? The minimum value of your contract. It must be worth at least what?
110.
$5.
What?
If I buy the right to if
Ah.
I buy the right to buy something at 105 and it's worth 110, it has to be worth the
$5.
contract must be worth at least $5. It's going to be worth more than $5 because why?
Because it's above what you bought to sell it at.
No.
All right. I don't know. Dude.
It's going to be worth more than $5 because you have another 25 days left on the contract of uncertainty. So that uncertainty has value.
I feel like we just said the same thing twice.
No, you did. We definitely did not say the same thing twice.
No, I think with this numbers, then you just change the numbers and said it again.
I did, but I did it to the downside because you didn't get it to the downside. I tried it to the upside and you didn't get to the upside. So let's try it again.
Not again. I
No,
don't get it.
you
What
need
the
to you got to understand this concept. Let's try it. All right, so let's try it back to the downside. I buy the right to sell something at $95. It cost me $1. Tracking?
Yeah, I was tracking last time.
You weren't tracking. You thought you
I
were
was
tracking.
trying.
All right. So I buy the right to sell something for 30 days. It cost me $1. The current price of the thing that I buy the right to sell is $100. I buy the right to sell it at the price of $95. You still tracking?
The answer's 5.
I didn't ask a question.
But you're gonna ask a question.
I'm going to ask a question, but I'm going to ask a different question to make sure you understand the question.
Oh.
Are you tracking?
Not. Yeah.
So what did you buy?
95.
90. You bought the 95 put, but what does that give you the right to do?
Sell it at 100.
No.
Where did the 100 come from?
That's the current price of the stock.
You bought the.
You bought the 95 put, which gives you the right to sell it at 95.
Okay.
You paid $1 for it.
$1 for. Okay.
Okay, so if the stock is trading at 80 in 5 days from now, what is the minimum value of the contract?
15.
Oh my gosh.
16.
Yes. No.
Oh.
Yes.
15.
Yes, 15.
Oh yeah.
Because it must be worth at least 15 because on the open market today, if your contract had no more time whatsoever, which yours does, but even if it didn't, then you have the right to go out and sell it for 95 and now it's worth 80. So if you exercise that contract or you turn around and sell that contract on the open market, it's going to have a value of at least 15.
Mm-hmm.
It's
James'
gonna
turn.
what's a likely value of that contract? Will it be worth more than 15?
No. Yes, because of more days.
Yes, because the time you still have 25 days.
Yeah, some more.
So if you still have 25 days left in the contract and in 5 days it moved $20, there's a likelihood that you're actually going to have a lot more value because that's a massive move. So based on the potential for the future move and the time and the volatility in that stock, it's going to determine how much that contract is worth above and beyond that 15. That's a concept known as intrinsic and extrinsic value. So the intrinsic value of that contract is 15, meaning the difference between the strike price and the current stock price. Intrinsic.
I'm trying to understand now.
I doubt it. Let's test it back to the upside again.
No. Test Jaden. I get it.
I doubt it. All right, Jaden, let's see if you get it.
Okay. What are we doing here?
We're doing a test of whether or not you understand intrinsic value and extrinsic value of an option.
So what's that?
What we were just talking about.
I was not listening.
Well, I think you were listening.
I wasn't listening at all.
You weren't. You might not have been listening to what I just said, but you were. Seriously, you want me to put that on the internet?
What?
You picking your nose.
I thought you said this was.
Yeah, you're right.
Didn't say it.
It's totally not being recorded.
Say it.
Can't do it.
Yell it.
I've been doing stuff this whole time.
Get canceled.
Anyway, all right. So if you buy the right to buy something at 105, it's currently trading at 100, and it moves up to 130. What is the minimum value in 5 days? You bought it the right to buy it for the next 30 days. At the time that you bought the right to do it, it was trading at 100. It's now trading at 105. I'm sorry. It's now trading at 130. You bought the right to buy it at 105. You paid $1 for it. What's the minimum current value of that contract?
Minimum current. You say it was trading at 113?
No.
What's it trading at right now?
It's currently trading at 130. At the time that you bought the contract, it was trading at 100. You bought the
I got
$24.
$24.
Yes.
That's not fair.
Because it's trading at 130.
That's not
and
fair.
You have the right to buy it at
Not supposed to get
105
it.
Yes.
minus the $1 that it cost.
He was listening.
Correct.
I was not listening.
Yes,
You were listening.
You were
But-
listening.
But hang on, stop. This goes back to, but the contract itself is going to actually be worth more than $24. Why?
Because the stock can go up.
Yes, because you still have 25 days left in the contract. And part of what makes up these contracts is not just the distance between the strike and the stock price, but part of it is the volatility in the stock and the time that's left in the contract. But what I'm explaining to you, what you just described to me, the minimum value, that's called intrinsic value. Intrinsically, the difference between the price and the right to buy it, that is what's known as intrinsic value. So once it moves beyond the actual, once your strike is surpassed by the stock price. So you bought the 105 strike, it was trading at 100. Once we go beyond the 105 strike in the price of the stock and it moves up above and beyond that, now we're talking about an intrinsic value of the stock, meaning every dollar that it moves beyond that, you're gaining intrinsic value, meaning your strike price is in the money at that point. It goes from out of the money to in the money. So every dollar from your strike, 105, so if it goes up to 110, that means you have $5 of intrinsic value, in the money value.
Wouldn't that
If
be
it goes
minus
to
the contract money? Minus $1.
Well, no, the value of the contract intrinsically is irrelevant of what you paid for it. The intrinsic value is there regardless. But your profit would definitely include that.
Okay. I think I understand.
So if it goes up to 115, then you have $10 of intrinsic value. If it goes up to 120, you have 15, 125, 20, and so on, all the way up to. So I think I actually answered your initial question incorrectly. You didn't actually have $24 of intrinsic value. You had $24 of guaranteed profit if you sold it at that point in time at a minimum. But your intrinsic value would have actually been $25.
Okay.
But you were including what you paid for it.
Yeah.
Your intrinsic value doesn't care about what you paid for it. Your intrinsic value is simply the difference between your strike and the current price, if it's in the money. Now, if your strike is above your current price, you have the right to buy it at 105 and it's currently trading at 100. What's your intrinsic value?
Intrinsic? Would that be -5?
It's zero.
Oh.
It doesn't go negative.
Oh.
It's just zero.
All right.
Anything, if you have the right to buy it at 105, anything under 105 has no intrinsic value. Doesn't matter what you paid for it at all. But there's other factors. So when you buy that 105 contract and you pay $100 for it, and the stock is currently trading at 100, then you're buying zero intrinsic value. You're buying only extrinsic value. Extrinsic value is made up of time and volatility. So how much the stock is anticipated to move, or how much it moves historically, and how much time you have left. That's why those value of the contracts that we're rolling up and down and moving around have something there, even though they're away from the money. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been selling puts far away from the money, hoping it doesn't get there. Then we buy them back when it doesn't get there for less, because they're made up of extrinsic value and we're betting it doesn't get to that price. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So this would be a lesson in intrinsic value. So what if you had to put your own definition on what is intrinsic value and what is extrinsic value? How would you define it in your own words based on how I described it?
So intrinsic value.
Don't try to sound smart.
I'm not.
I'm just saying.
Is the difference between your strike and what the stock is currently trading at.
If the stock is what?
If the stock is up.
Well, it depends on what you're buying, a put or a call. It depends on if your stock is in the money.
Yeah.
If the stock is in the money in relation to your strike.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is extrinsic value?
I'm not so sure. Wait, no. It's time and volatility.
What does that mean? Because
Given-
yes, that's correct. But what does that mean?
Okay, that means over a set period, or not a set, over a period of time, you're betting the stock will move, judging on its past moves and past prices.
Yeah, but you said it better. You included two metrics, time and volatility. Likelihood to move and the amount of time that it has to do it. Extrinsic value is comprised of the likelihood to move and the amount of time that it has to do it within.
Yeah.
So based on if it's likely to move $100 over the next 5 days, it's going to be worth more than something likely to move $1 over the next 5 days, right?
Yeah.
And if you have a stock that's likely to move $100 over the next 5 days, but you own a contract that's expires in 500 days, you could expect that contract to be worth way more than a contract that expires in 5 days. So likelihood to move in relation to the amount of time that you have for it to move. Do you get that? So if you have 5 days, it's different than 500 days. If you have 5 days, it's different than 30 days. And the value of the contract is going to depend all in relation to the likelihood to move. So a stock that's likely to move 1 cent in the next 5 days or 500 days. Let's say you have a stock that's likely to move $1 over the next 500 days. Do you think that a contract to buy that at the current price for the next 500 days is going to be worth more or less than a stock that is likely to move $500 over the next 30 days?
Probably would be worth less.
Why?
Because there's a very small move in a very big period of time.
Right. And the other example I gave you was a very big move in a much smaller period of time.
Precisely.
Right.
Did you say precisely? Joe thinks he knows a lot.
He's trying to sound smart.
I am
That's
smart.
the best part about it.
Nice,
You're getting the concept though. He's getting
I got
getting,
it.
He's getting the concept. The concept is
Trying to act like I'm not sure about it.
the value of the contract outside of the intrinsic value is comprised of the amount it's likely to move and the amount of time that you have left for the contract. So when we go out and we take a contract that has 10 days left, we buy it back and sell a contract for 45 more days. We're buying ourselves that extra 45 days. That's why people pay us money.
So
to
big
do that.
move in short time is good. Big or small move in long time is bad.
The
not
exact
that simple.
opposite of that.
It's not that simple.
It's
small move in long time.
It depends on what you say, good or bad. Big anticipated move creates opportunity for you to sell contracts far away from the money because there's an anticipated move of a big amount. So they pay you more to sell the contracts really far away from the money. The realized move, if the realized move is bigger than the anticipated move and you sell contracts within the anticipated move, you lose money. Just like with bros that we did tonight. We sold the 30 and the 60. It was at 38 when we did that. Now it's at 29.75. We sold the 30. So it moved way more in one day than the anticipated move in 45 days.
Moving in the wrong direction.
Any move, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't have mattered in any direction.
Blink.
The anticipated move only goes both ways in the same amount. So if there's a $7 expected move, it means $7 up, $7 down. So if we sold a $7 move, which I think this was around $6 and some change, we sold $8 away. It didn't matter because the stock moved more than $8 to the downside. We sold both sides. We sold, I think, $12 away on the top and $8 away on the bottom. Well, it moved more than $8 and it moved to the downside. So tomorrow we're going to have a problem because the value of that contract, even though we collected $1 for it, now it's within $1 from our short strike. But it also has 40 days left. So the value of those 40 days is going to make that contract worth that intrinsic value of anywhere, depending on where it opens. We own we guaranteed the right to buy it at 30, right? It's currently trading at 29.75, but it has 40 days left in it. So that means that in the next 40 days, it could go all the way to 25. It could go to 20. So there's a potential value of that, which I imagine will be somewhere around $300 of potential value, or $250. So the contract on the put side will likely be worth $300 to $400, somewhere in between that range tomorrow. We sold it for $1. If it's worth $300 to $400, that means we lost anywhere from $200 to $300. The aggregate of what we sold was $1. So that means we took, or tomorrow when the market opens, if the stock doesn't rally, we'll be down $250 to $350. Does that make sense? No. All right, we'll cover it again tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in to After Hours Noobs with two guys that really don't get it. Peace. Seriously.
Look at this going in.
Another day at the chart, see a red talking puts and calls, but they just stare ahead. Strike price means nothing in their blank minds. Margins and leverage like mountains to climb. Spent the whole week of Delta and Greeks. Get my theory ain't cutting through their peaks. Volatility shakes, but they don't feel the quake. Future contracts blind as financial break. Can't you see the candles rise and fall? Risk and reward, it's a game of all or no. Options open, futures closed, eyes blind. Frustrated fathers dream in the stock grind. Can't you see the candles rise and fall? Risk and reward, it's a game of all or no. Options open, futures closed, eyes blind. Frustrated fathers dream in the stock grind. It's what express faces like it's empty vicious, but the questions repeat. Time to gain means nothing to the young souls. In this marketplace, it's like digging holes. Condor flies, but it never lands. They can't grasp the feel of these trade winds. Liquidity dry, choking on the sand. Profits and losses, they grab and don't play bands. Can't you see the candles rise?